Hey guys, Tim here with the Go Cards. I played the UK National Championships 2023 this weekend. I finished top 82. I played the IKEA Labrynth deck, so the format's over now. But I want to show the deck anyway, because the deck was actually really awesome. That was one of the best decks I've played in a long time, to be honest, since like post-COVID. But we'll just get into the deck. A lot of other really good players played this deck this weekend as well. So probably see like a couple of Zed Emperors like the Disciples and stuff, but this is the list I ended up playing. 2 Lady, 2 Ariana, 1 Lovely. The reason for 2 Arianas, the deck is already 42 cards, it's like really tight for space. This is also like the weakest card into Impalm and like Veiler and stuff in the deck. And then 2 Lady again, it's like a space thing, and it's like the deck is hyper consistent anyway. And then 3 Stovey, 2 Chandelier, and 1 Clock. This is like the IKEA part of the deck. These cards are all actually really, really good. They're like subtly good because you don't really realize how much advantage they create until they start rolling. But like once you get both of these like guys into rotation, the game is pretty much over because you're just like being able to make Chaos Angel and just constantly have like access to the traps, which just means Lovely is constantly like popping stuff. It's just like really crazy. Like Big Welcome's constantly bouncing stuff as well. And this guy lets you do some like crazy stuff with like Eradicator and stuff in your opponent's turn. I guess there's like another like guy that recurs itself as well. One of the field spell. Not sure how popular this is in lists. It was really good for me this weekend. Basically makes all your like welcome traps into like real trap cards that pop something, and it makes all your like real trap cards into welcome traps that summon something, which is really cool actually. It's just kind of like I didn't want to have like these points where I had like both the traps already and had like nothing to search that I wanted, so I thought it'd be really good to have access to the field spell. It's also like insane in the like actual like trap mirrors and stuff. It gives you a lot of control, so I think it was really worth playing. I came up a lot, to be honest. It's like a lot of games were clutched out by it. Then 3 Big Welcome and 2 Welcome. 3 Big Welcome stands like the best card in the deck by far, and then just 2 Welcome. 3 is just unnecessary. You find the engine so fast anyway. It's like because it's not got the secondary effect of like bouncing a card, it's not necessary, and it recurs itself like a lot of the time. So once you find one, you kind of find both. There's actually points where I was thinking like I maybe play 1, just because it is so easy to find, it is so easy to recur, but it just sort of ended up being a 2 of. I think that's the correct number, to be honest. And then 3 Extrav, and 1 Prosp. Extrav is better than Prosp in this deck, just because you need cards to discard for the furniture. So being able to draw 2 is like really, really good. And then Prosp was just kind of like how it was either like a 3rd Ariana, a 3rd Chandelier, or just like 1 Prosp. Ended up playing the 1 Prosp just because it was, like I said, Ariana was weak into like Impalm and stuff. Chandelier was just like a bit unnecessary because of how like the 3rd Chandelier was a bit unnecessary because of how consistent the deck was anyway. So Prosp was kind of like a middle balance of that, where it was like this maybe finds like unfair cards like Skill Drain or like a Droll or something, or like just something we're missing from the hand, like either a starter or like a non-engine card. So it was really cool to play this, but just the 1 because I didn't want to like clog on these too much. And it's just kind of like how the deck ended up being. Otherwise, this probably is like a 2 of. The deck is already tight for space because, like I said, it's 42. Then like the regular trap cards, like the deck doesn't play a lot of trap cards. This is the cool thing about this deck. It's not like a traditional trap deck, which you guys will obviously like see, but it's just very good at being able to play like 1 trap and being able to keep recurring that trap because of the what's it called? The Lovely Lady. Being able to like reset it and stuff is crazy. And then like the welcome traps are just like also real traps. So it has like minimal real traps, which means it doesn't lose to like Duster and Evenly and stuff like that as much. And it gets to play hand traps, so it actually can go second as well, which is like just a very cool thing. And then like these all trigger the like furniture, which then means you find more engine. It just creates like this infinite loop effectively. But these are like the best 3 normal traps, I think. Punishment is just like generically the best one, because it's like in a vacuum, it's like a pops a monster and then like enters pops something as well, where it draws a card, which is cool. Then like Cannon was an out to the Pearly guy, but also versus Cash, it could be like a potential just like outright game winner because it's a Book of Moon. And like, it was very good versus like link decks and stuff like that. And then the Terrors was just like very, very good. I think this is the best one of the 3, because it was like it could out back row as well as like be like a lock versus Cash. It could out monsters too. Like it was just very versatile as a card. I wanted 2 of this at points in testing, but it was like, again, space was an issue and it is so easily searchable. A lot of time it is just like fine to play 1 because you don't really want to brick on too many like normal traps because these like don't find your engine, and like sometimes punishment does, but like being like one of us is fine because you just sort of find them when you want them, rather than when like you don't need them. I was hard carried by this card to this weekend, to be honest. I resolved skill drain so much, and so many people just scooped to it, which is really broken. I was like a big like decision to play this deck is like not a lot of the decks in general have an out to this card in the main deck or extra deck currently. And then like post side, a lot of people would cut back on like spell trap removal massively. So it was like very, very hard to clear a skill drain plus like just like a lady or something where it's like a 3k beater. It's just really obnoxious. Basically like sticking your blue eyes, to be honest, and just like attacking stuff. Yeah, this card's actually just crazy, which is to be expected because it is skill drain. And then this is like a big reason why the IKEA deck is so good. It's because you get to play a lot of hand traps like this. I think it was 14 hand traps in this list. It's free nib, free ash, free draw, free gamma, the driver, and then 2 impalm. There's a third impalm on the side, but it's again just a space thing. But I think these are like the best hand traps in general, generically. And going into UK Nats, we didn't really know what to expect deck-wise. Like Cash and Lab were going to be the most popular probably, but you never know, you compare into like all sorts of stuff. So when I have good coverage versus like Branded, when I had good coverage versus like Sword and combo decks, when I had good coverage versus like, you know, Drytron potentially as well. And then Gamma was just like by far the best card as a hand trap because it was also like, you know, if you actually extra or something, and you have Gamma in hand and your opponent ashes this, the game does end a lot of the time because you get to like Gamma, like you're always able to like resolve Gamma, like your big welcomes resolve so consistently because of Gamma. Because you, outside of Ariana, you never have a monster on the field, which is another reason why we want to play less Ariana. Because it's like Gamma is just so easy to resolve. I played like the Excel Synchron stuff in the extra deck. Impalm was like fine, but again, kind of like the same thing with the other traps. It's just very easy to recur, so 2 is just fine. Like I said, these were all just like generically the best traps, hand traps. So main deck out, like I said, was 42. Really good. Don't think well, new format, so it doesn't really matter, but like don't think there'll be any changes to the main deck. I think the main deck worked really well. Extra deck, free Chaos Angel. The extra deck is very loose. It doesn't really matter too much. Like I didn't go into any of this weekend, I think, apart from an Excel Synchron once and a Muckraker once. It's basically just like punishment targets and like options basically. But free Angel, 1 Omega for the Gamma, 1 Excel and 1 Floor again for Gamma. Free Muckraker because this one can come up to like when you grind have like recurrence and you can bring back Angel and stuff with it, which is cool. Free Entes because this is like the best punishment target, so it just made sense to play free in case you would banish like 2 or you needed like a second one at points. Kind of on top of that as well was like 1 Skull Knight for when you wanted an Entes but not immediately. This could be like sent to grave and then just used later. Then 1 of the Tri-Brigade guy because it's big, and then 1 Guerrero because it's like it combos with this basically with combos. But it was just 1 and 1 because like the extra deck's pretty tight for space, as you can see, and this like doesn't really come up a lot because there is only 1 punishment, but you just want the options basically. And then the side was like actually pretty tough. I put a lot of into the side, but I wanted to have like really good coverage versus like the mirror, basically just good coverage versus everything, and not really worry about Cash because the deck is just very good against Cash anyway because of the amount of hand traps. The deck was basically just built to be Cash. But yeah, the side was 1 Jerusalem, 3 Magnum. Bicycles are just crazy because especially because you can return Magnum to your hand in this deck with Big Welcome, which is just like a lot of decks just die horribly to Magnum. Like Mathmech is just like a very good matchup a lot of the time. Same with Branded. These just like push that edge a little bit further. Then 2 Bell, much the same reason, but like this is also a little bit better in some other situations, and I can't remember now because it's a bit late, but like there were some other matchups where this had like really good coverage. Then free Ogre. This was for Super Heavy Samurai and Pearly, but I didn't want to main deck it because I didn't think it was very good versus Cash or the Mirror. But I wanted to have it somewhere in the list because I think it is just like very, very good in those matchups. It was really good when I did draw in the event overall. Like it's an easy side out for, it's like an easy switch. That was a cool thing about this deck as well, because there's so many hand traps you can easily just pivot like the bad ones in a matchup out for more, which is cool. But yeah, this is like really good versus the decks that I thought would be like the 3rd and 4th most popular decks of the format. Then the third imp, like I said, just an extra hand trap. Realistically, that didn't make it into the main, but it made sense for the side patterns because it was good versus cash. Like the only thing that went in going second versus cash. Then like the going first cards, like the unfair cards, because you can search the normal traps. Is like 2 barrier. It was 2 because the side patterns. Honestly, I had a space that I wanted. Like when I was siding, I was like, I want an extra card for branded. And I think it was like I wanted an extra card for Pearly as well. So I was like, this is just the best one for that. I had like good coverage, but 2 is just kind of like was literally just for that. There's no other reason to play 2. Just how the patterns ended up lying, but the card's just insane. Then 1 Eradicator and 1 Deck Dev. I only resolved these like once each. And Deck Dev was not actually that insane when I did resolve it, but like these cards are absolutely just worth playing because this is an all-win versus Samurai, and this is like an all-win versus like the trap mirrors and stuff. So it's really important to play these. And the last card, because it's like it made sense, was a pointer, because this kind of does whatever you always want. Because it's a normal trap that lets you look at your opponent's hand, pick the best card out of it, and take it away. So you can take away like the Duster, or you can take away the Engine, depending on their hand, and then you can reset it like with Lovely and then do it again. But obviously, Balancer is gone. I never came out. I never actually resolved this. But yeah, that was the list. Really, really good deck. Shame the format's over because I actually quite like this format. Shoutouts to Jacob and Callum. Jacob for filming. Shout out to Brenda. Frankie, Benny, and Toby. Shout out to Gramps, JOI, Chris, Omar, all of Quiche, just in general. Shout out to WAF as well. Shout out to all the guys in WAF for like helping with the deck. We all kind of like had our own versions of this deck, but we all had the similar idea. Yeah, new format. We'll be at Euros, so try and like do well there as well. Yeah, cheers guys.